Hi, this is Brigitte from Tasted TV. I'm sitting next to Tim from Rise Against. So,
Hello.
hi Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing great today, thank you.
Yeah. And so 2 days ago it was Fresno, quite hot there. How were you doing then?
I wasn't doing so good. It was very warm, and then actually the air conditioning on our bus went out, and so our bus kind of turned into this sauna, and we were just baking in the heat. It was very, very warm. I think it was 110 degrees Fahrenheit.
In the bus?
Or outside, but in the bus it was close to that. It was getting there, very closely. So, but it was a good time, and I was proud of all the kids who actually were out there all day in the parking lot.
You guys are from Chicago, I think?
Correct, yes.
That's quite a difference, no, between LA and well, not only the weather, but I think also the mentality, if that's the correct word.
Yeah, no, it's totally correct. Totally different kinds of cities. You know what I mean? Like Los Angeles is, it's the Hollywood industry and the music industry and the movie industry, and it's all very, lights and sounds. And Chicago's a working class town. It's a real humble town. We're right in the middle of the Midwest. We're not West Coast. We're not East Coast. We have our own thing going on, and we have a lot of Chicago pride, and it's just a great place to be from. It's a hard work ethic in Chicago, and just real people in a real city.
If you would ask your best friend to describe you in 3 words, what would he or she say?
Stubborn, reckless, and I don't know. Weird, just strange, just weird.
Yeah? Reckless in what way?
I don't know. I guess like in the way of what I do with my life. I tour on a bus and around and play shows, and I don't know. It's a strange life for a 27-year-old kid. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing, and so, but I like it. I like the adventure behind it, I like the chaos behind it. And it's a lot of fun. So.
How long have you been doing this now?
This band's been around for like 6 years now. So I've been playing in bands for over 10 years though, but Rise Against is the first real full-time thing that I've ever done. So.
Yeah. And also touring all over?
Yeah, touring worldwide.
Yeah?
Yeah. We tour worldwide.
You also were in Belgium, you mentioned, at the Groesrock Festival?
Yeah, the Groesrock Festival. A couple times, like maybe twice now, maybe 3 times even. I could be 3 times. So we've played some club shows in Belgium as well. So we've had some great times there. Belgium was one of the first places in the world that really embraced what we did. Some of our biggest shows were in Belgium at first. Yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear that.
Yeah. Belgium Groesrock was the biggest at the time. It was the biggest show we'd ever played, and so that was like our claim to fame for a while. So it was cool. We've played bigger shows since, but that was the first real big one. So, yeah.
And if you would have to describe Rise Against in 3 words, what would that be?
Ooh, 3 words to describe Rise Against. I'd say that we're aggressive, we're relevant, and we're punk rock.
Relevant in what way?
I guess that we do music for more reasons than just simply to entertain people. We're out there to really try to have an impact on the people around us and the world around us. We're not out there just to entertain and just dance for people and just you pay your money, you get a ticket, you see a show. We're more than a show. We're more than that. We're more than just entertainers. We're out there to inform. We're out there to change people. We're out there to have an impact. We're out there to make people think. We're out there to challenge your thought process. We're out there to be a little bit more of a bitter pill to swallow than your average music.
And what's the impact that you want to have?
I guess lots of different things. Most importantly, I would like to sort of plant the seed or the idea of change and awareness of the world around you. I think that we certainly delve into politics with Rise Against, but our approach has always been not to shove anything down anyone's throat. We kind of just present it and put it out there and let the listener make up their own mind about how they feel about it. But we feel this responsibility to at least present them with the information. Because it was bands that we listened to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, as we grew up, that changed our lives and presented us with information and taught us, what being a punk rock band is all about. And we're just simply passing that on to the next generation.
So you want to learn the people to think for themselves, and also on what subjects are the most important for you?
It's an always changing thing. I guess things that we're working on right now, and we really stress with what we do, animal rights and vegetarianism, veganism. None of us eat meat. We work closely with PETA. We've been working with the Save Darfur campaign in Africa. That's just a huge problem that all of us feel pretty strongly about, and just are amazing that in a post-Rwanda world we can actually be having something like Darfur actually happening. So wherever we feel like we can be effective, obviously there are lots of important causes in the world, but we try not to spread ourselves too thin, and that's why with the music, instead of attacking specific ideas so much, we attack it a little more generally, and so that way I think it'll have a broader impact, and that way the individual can decide which of these things do they care about, and that's also, we don't want to overwhelm people either, because I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people burn out on either punk rock or activism or politics or any idea of change. People get overwhelmed, It's it's at some point you realize I can't change everything. Yeah. I can't change everything. You can't do it. It's not really possible. There's a lot that goes on in this world. There's a lot of suffering that happens in this world that you simply, no matter what you do, it's going to be there. And I think it's important for people to realize that just because you can't change everything doesn't mean you shouldn't try to change anything. Yeah. And that's something an approach that we take, and it's what's kept us here today.
Well, talking about animal rights, because I also really think that's a subject that people need to talk more about. I always wondered why people think that they are allowed to decide over animals, the life of the animals and so on. What's your view on that?
It's not anyone's fault, really. I don't think it's you can't specifically blame people. I think that we are brought up in a society that really accepts that. And so from the time you're very little, by the time you're a child, you're taught to accept that. Your parents tell you oh, there's the chicken, pet the chicken, yeah, oh, it's so cute. Now eat the chicken, you know what I mean? And then your parents are there and they're like, but it's okay to do that. Yeah. And they don't really know why it's okay, but someone told them it was okay. And so it's just kind of been passed down to us, and it's kind of, it's tradition, and that's what it is. Eating meat is a very traditional thing. And so people, when that's just completely instilled in you from an early age, it's a hard thing to break out of. Yeah. And I don't have any animosity towards anybody that eats meat, because this is the world that we all grew up in, you know what I mean? And I was certainly one of those kids who was like, I'm gonna eat meat till the day I die. I'm never gonna be vegetarian, screw that. I'm not gonna give up hamburgers and whatever else. That was me at one point. And so it's hard to, a lot of times it's hard to really explain to people about stuff like that. It's something that you need to sort of find on your own, and come to terms with on your own. And that's why we do things like present information, you know what I mean? Or if you see our new video, there's imagery in that could really hopefully have an impact on you. And that's what we try to do. But to me, it's not about blaming anybody. It's not about being mad at anybody. It's not about judging them for what they do, It's all about, small changes and being accepting of everyone's idea and hopefully making a bigger change eventually.
Yeah. I also agree that you can't really force people. They have to discover it for themselves, because otherwise they'll go all defensive and it won't help. So, so could I ask you some questions on other subjects? But if they are too sensible, you really don't have to answer.
Okay. Scare me. Make me nervous.
What do you think about abortion?
Ooh. I believe in women's right to choose. I certainly believe in women's right to choose. I think that I don't know if there's anybody out there who really would, support abortions as they are. It's obviously if you have to have an abortion, it's a sad state of affairs. But I do believe that a woman's right to choose should be protected at all costs. And I guess I would hope that that people would choose to have babies. You know what I mean? And that would, something that's important. But I also believe that should be in their that should be a personal decision, not a decision made by the government.
What do you think about the current state of mind of a lot of people, that they are afraid in this world, afraid of terrorism and so on?
It's a scary place, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's as scary of a place as perhaps the Bush administration is making it out to be. They've been using that fear propaganda to really coerce the American people to do whatever they want them to do. I mean, we went to a war because we were afraid. We've attacked countries and killed thousands of people because because someone convinced us that we should be afraid. Someone said, like, listen, if you don't go out there and attack this country, then they're gonna bomb your town, they're gonna bomb your house, they're gonna kill your family, and it's just like, it was all bullshit, and it's just, it's scary. It's certainly something to be aware of, obviously nobody's making up terrorism, it certainly exists, but I think that it's important to look at the root of the problem, and realize that terrorism is a symptom to many more issues, and it has a much more complex background that people realize. These aren't people, they don't hate America, they don't hate our freedom, they don't hate our way of life. I mean, people who've been like seriously oppressed by American foreign policy for a long time, and then like I think that wars like now in Afghanistan and Iraq and everywhere we're going to war, what they're doing is just creating more terrorists. You know what I mean? Like some 7-year-old kid out there just had his parents killed by an American GI. You think he's gonna grow up a happy person and like stoked about America? No, he's gonna grow up and he's gonna learn how to make a bomb. And he's gonna come to Chicago one day, and like that's gonna be his life's goal, and like that's a scary place. And I certainly can hardly even fault him in that. You know what I mean? If that's what he does, it's like I can't put myself in his shoes. Nobody ever bombed my house and killed my family. I mean, but that happened to tens of thousands of people in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it's just scary to think about the generations of angry people that's creating right now in this day and age, and it's maybe not having an impact immediately, but I mean, it's going to resonate for a long time throughout history.
Yeah, I think you're completely right. So I've been serious for so long, but I think in this world we also have to have some lighter issues. So maybe, well, sticking on the same subject of fear, but go way back in your childhood. What were you afraid of as a kid?
E.T.
You were afraid of E.T.?
I was really afraid of E.T. I saw it when I was really young, and then I had nightmares about it forever.
Yeah. And what about ghosts? Do you believe in ghosts?
I haven't put a lot of thought to it. I certainly have not discounted the possibility of there being ghosts, but to be honest, I haven't really thought about it too much.
You haven't encountered any ghosts yet?
No, I don't think I have. No, not that I know of, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. Could be an interviewer or something. No, just kidding. Maybe another story. I'm over here from Belgium in America, so I'm staying at my friend Jessica's house, and she has ghosts, by the way. Yeah.
Paranormal activity in California.
And actually, we were sleeping like in the same bed, and in the middle of the night, she just hit me in the head, just like that.
Really?
Yes.
You mad at her?
No, but has anything like that ever happened to you? Because you're touring, so you must be sleeping like in compact rooms sometimes, or in the early years. What was your crappiest night ever?
Ooh, I've got some crappy nights. I guess like when after a show somebody offers you a place to stay, and you go there thinking that like, oh cool, there'll be couches or at least a floor, and they all pile you like into one bedroom, like 6 of you like into one bedroom on a carpet that's like soaking in beer, and like there's like used condoms and stuff on the floor and just all this stuff. So like it's we've been in some pretty sick places, like roach infested apartments in Philadelphia. We've been in frat houses in Iowa City, like that kind of thing. You tend to stay at places where like that's where the party is. So like when you finish the show and you just want to go to bed, there's no going to bed. You know what I mean? When you're staying like at the house where the party is, and so you end up trying to like fall asleep on floors like that's what parties like going on around you. So we stayed in some pretty crappy places, but all bands have. That's what we do. You know what I mean? It's a choice. It's the choice to make. We're not special. It's something that you do, and a choice that you make. So.
Well, it must be really worthwhile to do it, because I mean it's so exhausting. Why is it so important to keep on playing this music for you?
I guess it's what like keeps us alive, what we know how to do, and like it's what we love to do. And I think that everyone should have something that they love to do and something they feel passionate about. And we're lucky to do it. You know what I mean? We're lucky to not be people who have like 9-to-5 jobs and then play in a band with each other after work. And just like maybe play on weekends. We're lucky that this is our job. This is what we do, and it's just something that we really fought hard for a long time. And with a lot of hard work and a lot of luck, and a lot of great fans and accepting people, it's worked out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
and have a great time.
Cool. Well, thanks to all of our Belgium fans too, everybody. We hope to be back in Europe in the fall.
Oh, that's
So
great.
we'll be with Wilhelm Scream and a band called Barry Charak from the Basque Country in Spain, and we hope to be playing near you. And thanks for all your love and support for this band over the last 6 years.
Yeah, so go and watch them.